In a stunning reversal that has sent shockwaves through the political and business communities, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has scrapped the 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, effective immediately. The announcement marks a dramatic shift in Canada's trade policy, catching many by surprise and raising questions about the country's economic direction. Just a year ago, Canada stood shoulder to shoulder with the US and EU, united in their stance against a surge of subsidized Chinese EVs flooding Western markets. The alliance was firm, and the message to Beijing was clear: unfair competition would not be tolerated. Now Carney's abrupt pivot signals that the economic pain at home has become simply unbearable for many Canadians. Rising costs, job losses, and shuttered businesses have put immense pressure on the government to act. For months, Canada was squeezed between Chinese retaliatory tariffs and aggressive US protectionism under President Trump, leaving the country in a precarious position on the global stage. The high tariffs, originally intended to protect Ontario and Quebec's EV industry, ended up devastating prairie agriculture, especially in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, where farmers and exporters faced plummeting sales and mounting losses. Carney's move is a direct response to mounting pressure from these provinces, whose export-driven economies were hit hardest and whose leaders have been demanding urgent relief for months. This decision fractures the Western alliance against China and puts Canada at odds with Washington's hardline trade strategy, raising the stakes for future international cooperation. For global businesses, auto workers, and consumers, the landscape has shifted overnight. The sudden policy change introduces new uncertainties, but also new opportunities for those quick to adapt. Carney has rolled the dice. Now Ottawa, Washington, and Beijing must decide their next moves in a rapidly evolving trade environment that could reshape global alliances for years to come. To grasp today's shock, let's rewind to the summer of 2024, a turning point that set off a chain reaction across the globe. That summer, Canada, following the lead of the US and EU, slapped a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles and a 25% tariff on Chinese steel and aluminum. The move was meant to shield its auto industry and protect Canadian jobs, but it also signaled a new era of economic confrontation. China hit back fast and hard, launching a trade probe and, by March 2025, imposing 100% tariffs on Canadian rapeseed oil, peas, and more. The retaliation was swift, targeting the heart of prairie agriculture and sending shockwaves through rural communities. Meanwhile, President Trump's America First policy ramped up US tariffs on Canadian goods, escalating the pressure and leaving Canada squeezed between two economic giants. Canada retaliated, but soon found itself fighting trade wars on two fronts, against its biggest rival and its closest ally. The diplomatic strain was palpable and the stakes kept rising. The US tariffs hammered Ontario's manufacturing sector, leading to layoffs and plant closures, while China's response devastated the prairies, leaving fields and equipment idle. Mark Carney, Canada's finance minister, faced a crisis threatening both economic stability and national unity. The government scrambled to contain the fallout as business confidence plummeted. The original goal, protecting the auto sector, was lost amid widespread damage. The ripple effects spread far beyond factories, touching every corner of the economy. The tangled web of disputes left Canada isolated, its traditional alliances strained, and its leaders desperate for relief from the relentless economic squeeze. Today's dramatic policy reversal is the result of this relentless pressure, a last-ditch effort to stop the bleeding and restore stability. The hope now is to end the pain at home, even if it means breaking ranks with allies and forging a new path forward for Canadian trade. The stakes for Canada and the world are enormous, as the outcome of this trade war could reshape the global economic order for years to come. China's tariffs hit Canada's prairie provinces hardest, slashing exports and gutting local economies. Saskatchewan's exports to China plunged 76% in a year, leaving farmers with unsellable surpluses and collapsing prices. Manitoba's pork industry lost millions, threatening family farms and small communities. The economic pain quickly became a political crisis for Carney. Prairie premiers, regardless of party, demanded an end to the EV tariffs, arguing their provinces were sacrificed for central Canada's auto industry. The pressure fractured national unity and forced Carney's hand. The promise of future EV jobs meant little to those losing their livelihoods now. Carney faced a stark choice: maintain a divisive policy, or act to save the prairies. Today's decision makes clear which path he chose. The fallout will shape Canada's future. China responded to Carney's announcement with swift, strategic reciprocity. Within hours, Beijing lifted its 100% tariffs on Canadian agricultural products, offering immediate relief to prairie farmers. This move wasn't just economic, it was a calculated signal to the world: cooperate, and China will reward you. China's ambassador had long left the door open for this resolution, framing it as mutual de-escalation, not capitulation. For China, it's a strategic win, breaking Western unity and gaining access to the North American market. Canada's reversal is a model for other nations weighing their own trade battles with Beijing. China has shown it can use targeted pressure to achieve its goals. The message: engagement pays, confrontation hurts. The global trade order just shifted. Ottawa's move sent shockwaves through Washington, upending President Trump's united front against China. Canada's break from the pact will be seen as a betrayal, undermining Trump's tariff strategy. Carney's independent deal with China directly contradicts U.S. policy, risking a sharp response from the White House. Trump, known for his confrontational style, may retaliate with new tariffs or border measures. Yet, some in his administration might urge restraint, fearing further damage to U.S.-Canada ties and supply chains. The timing is fraught. The U.S. faces a government shutdown and looming new tariffs on China. Canada's move gives China a backdoor into North America, complicating Trump's plans. Trump must now choose: punish Canada and risk economic fallout, or let it slide and appear weak. The next days will reveal whether this rift escalates into a full-blown trade crisis. The world is watching. Carney's decision has redrawn North America's economic map overnight, sending shockwaves through boardrooms and government offices across the continent. The Western alliance against Chinese EVs is fractured, giving Chinese automakers a foothold in Canada that few predicted just months ago. This move opens the door for new partnerships and unexpected rivalries. Expect a surge of affordable Chinese EVs, intensifying competition and challenging U.S. automakers on their own turf. Canadian consumers may soon have more choices than ever before, reshaping the market landscape. Canada's move disrupts integrated North American supply chains, potentially giving Canadian plants access to cheaper Chinese parts and technology. This could boost local production but also create new dependencies. The USMCA's future is now uncertain, with Washington likely to demand stricter rules to block Chinese goods. Tensions are rising as policymakers scramble to protect domestic industries. Canada's independent action signals a shift in its geopolitical stance, national interest over automatic alignment with the U.S. This bold step could redefine the country's role on the world stage. Other U.S. allies may follow suit, seeking relief from the U.S.-China trade war's economic pain. The ripple effects could reshape global alliances and trade patterns for years to come. For Canada's EV industry, the stakes are high. Compete with Chinese giants, or risk being left behind. Innovation, investment, and adaptability will be crucial for survival. The dream of a self-sufficient North American EV supply chain faces its toughest test yet, as old certainties give way to new realities. The coming months will determine if this gamble pays off, or if it triggers a new era of economic uncertainty and competition. The balance of power in global trade is shifting, and the world is watching to see who will emerge stronger in this new era. For American consumers, Canada's move could mean cheaper EVs as competition heats up north of the border. U.S. automakers may be forced to lower prices, with ripple effects possibly reaching American buyers. But for U.S. auto workers, the risk is real. Chinese vehicles and parts could slip into the U.S. market, threatening jobs and wages. Trump's response, tariffs or border controls, will shape whether this becomes a North American trade crisis. The upcoming USMCA review will be pivotal, as the U.S. seeks to close loopholes and protect its industries. The success of Chinese EVs in Canada will be a test case for the continent. Carney's decision has set off a chain reaction with profound consequences. The road ahead is uncertain, and every move will matter.